I came over from Ghana in 1992. It was April, and in Ghana at that point it was nice and hot, you know, a bit of rainy season, so it was quite humid and lovely. And when I came to London originally in April, it was really cold. I don't know if it was just a cold April, but it was absolutely freezing. So I turned up in shorts and a small jacket, and I remember my dad laughing, giving me, and he was prepared, and he knew I'd be coming in shorts and stuff. Me and my sisters and, you know, my mum, and he gave me a big jacket, and my sisters and that big jacket. So it was a bit surreal coming from a hot country to what was extremely cold. My grandfather was a diplomat, and over the time he travelled around the world. I mean, believe it or not, one of my aunties was born in Hong Kong. Another one of my aunties is born in Russia. One of my uncles born in America, so they travelled around the world. When they lived in Ghana, obviously, my mum and dad met, and my dad had job opportunities in the UK. You know, we were in a comfortable position in Ghana in a sense, but my dad felt it was important for us all to, you know, to be with him in the UK. So we moved over then. You know, how old was I? I was 9 years old. Being a young African boy, turning up in Britain, not understanding the culture at all, and also not understanding the way of life. So it was an interesting thing for me, and a big change in many ways. No foul! I did encounter a lot of racism in terms of people taking a mick out of me because I was African, you know, and calling me poor, when in actual fact, in Ghana, I was quite affluent, you know, and we had quite a lot of land and, you know, big house and everything. So for them to call me that was a bit confusing. And that made my life a little bit difficult. I know, it's unlucky. It's immigrants that have made this country great. I mean, you look at the NHS, the amount of foreigners who are working within the NHS, and without them, NHS would collapse, and that's a fact. People want to come here and work, they want to earn, they want to achieve.
My mum's side of the family born and bred here, but my dad's side of the family, my grandfather came over in the 1960s to work in Port Talbot. He worked in the steelworks. He left my grandmother over there, and my dad was just born, so he was very young at the time, just a few months old, and he came over to work with his brother. I think there was a few of them at that time, living in a house, all working, sleeping, cooking together, just, you know, trying to make do. My grandmother was just telling me the other day when he first of all came here and he couldn't speak much English, and he went to the local shop and had to do actions in order for certain foods. For example, he was doing the wings to ask for eggs, so he was acting like a chicken to try and portray that he wanted to buy eggs from the shop. You wouldn't typically see an Asian girl playing sport, so in that aspect I have broken the barrier representing my country as well as coaching. So within the BME community you don't really see any girls in there, and I've had both positive and probably negative experiences from both male and female. I think immigration is a positive thing. It's more competitive in terms of jobs out there. People with certain skills and attributes coming over to the country will help us obviously get better.
I'm happy that I had the opportunity to be able to come over here and work. It happens all over the world. People go to different countries and in all types of fields and work, you know, and have that opportunity to experience different cultures, and a lot of the times, a lot of these people they end up staying after they finish working, or for how many ever years. So, you know, it's good when you have productivity, more or less. That helps the economy and whatnot.
One of the first few weeks that I was in the UK, I saw snow for the first time, and I was like, whoa, like you know, what is that? You know, the sky's falling, you know? So just little things like that. You know, there's no snow in Zambia where I was born. Race and everything also played a big part because, you know, for me when I was younger, there was no black kids around. You know, I was new to all the other kids around, and you know, my color and everything like this. You know, and also, you know, maybe a little bit also the same way, but that kind of took a lot of getting used to, and just the learning, you know, the cultures, the different ways of how being brought up in Wales was. You know, the world is getting smaller for me because I think, you know, different cultures, people are traveling a lot more, people going to different places, and it's only a good thing.
Being born and brought up in Wales, you build a affinity to the country, the nationality, the people, and everything about it. I went to Welsh primary school, so I learnt Welsh, the language, and I think I lived away for a few years. Having been able to speak the language, it just gives you even more of a stronger identity. As long as you're contributing to the country, and you know, you have respect for the country that you've moved to, I don't see why anyone should have any issues with kind of you making a life in a place that you weren't born in. At the current state of affairs, my view is more on how it's portrayed and how it's kind of communicated to the general public. I think the media has a lot to answer for in that. I think it is a challenge for young people, and it might be a challenge for someone growing up who's not from the UK or whose parents are first generation immigrants. They certainly will have challenges. As you know, I didn't have that huge amount of challenges, but there were times where there was when I was growing up. I think the only thing I would say is that you know, treat people how you'd like to be treated yourself. So if they treat you with respect, then you should be treating people with respect, vice versa. If that isn't the case, then I think you just need to try your best not to be dragged down to their level.
At that moment, things were not good in Zimbabwe. I was forced to flee. The flight, it was more than 10 hours, but to me, that night, it was like 3 months. I loved my family. I've left my beautiful wife, my 2 daughters, and I had to tell them to go and stay with my in-laws. We left our house, our beautiful house, because it wasn't safe anymore. And when I arrived in the UK, my asylum didn't go well. It was rejected. At the same time, I was going through a difficult time thinking about how can I bring my family to safety over here. At no stage, I wasn't given any social benefit. At that time, which was like £30 a week, but I didn't get anything. So I used to stay with a friend. Because I was going mental, I started doing lots of voluntary work, using sport as a tool to promote community cohesion, integration. I love Wales because it has given me the opportunity to find back my life. The message I would like to pass to young asylum seekers and refugees is try to be active. Live as an active citizen in Newport or wherever you are in the UK. Try to give back to the communities where you're living.
Show racism the red card.
Show racism the red card.
Show racism the red card.
Show racism the red card.